what's up guys, it is Central here, and today I'm bringing you some even more Kingdom Hearts 3 for you guys today. I told you there'd be 2 videos today. This is the other little topic that I wanted to talk about that I missed last week, so I'm going to be covering that in this video, and I think it's very, very interesting, and can't wait to see what this actually kind of amounts to. So yeah, let's get into it. So, Tetsuya Nomura just recently did an interview with EveryEye.it, the interview that I talked about in the last video. And it's going to be the same one here. And again, he talks about many different things in this. As always, check the link in the description if you want to check out the full article, see what all he talks about in there, because I'm just going to be focusing on one thing for this video, and that is the topic of translation issues with Kingdom Hearts 3. As you all know, Kingdom Hearts is a Japanese game, obviously, and, you know, they have to translate from Japanese into English, and sometimes that can be a little hard, and there can be some mistranslations sometimes. And he talks about that and why it's kind of necessary for them to get it right in here. So let's get into that. So the interviewer goes ahead and asks him, regarding the localization, what are the times and the difficulties of the adaptation and translation of a work such as Kingdom Hearts 3, which closely collaborates with local franchises such as Final Fantasy, and with a Western brand as important as Disney and the attached animation brands? Nomura responds, the biggest challenge is not so much the differences between the Kingdom Hearts franchise and other brands. When I direct a game, I ask for translations to be direct and faithful as possible, no matter how complex the subject is. This implies the question of which of the 2 translations, Japanese and English, is the best. The truth is, especially for Kingdom Hearts, an incorrect or defective translation risks compromising the comprehension of the whole story, and that is why I care about it so much. On the other side of the scale, however, I understand the dynamics that characterize the team's approach to the location of the game, which are quite complicated. After all, it is not an issue I can deal with firsthand. Therefore, I prefer leaving dealing with these problems to the others. So pretty much the basic gist of what he said there is that I want to make sure this game is completely translated well, like 100% right, because this game is very story-driven, this franchise is very story-driven, and if one thing goes wrong in there, then the whole thing just collapses, you know what I mean? A lot of things just won't make sense anymore. But he'll just retcon it later, don't worry. But yeah, I really like that he does this. Of course, it's not his main job to do that. He's just the director of the game. But it is his main job to make sure everything goes right. And he does put a lot of attention to that, which I really like. Of course, with a lot of translations from Japanese media to English, there are some liberties taken, obviously, because sometimes Japanese culture doesn't fit really well with Western culture. They are very different, so sometimes lines just won't make sense, and they change it up a little bit for the English dub of it because, you know, it just makes more sense that way. So a lot of times people do that for like anime and games and stuff like that. Dragon Ball Z, and I used to watch I used to watch Pokemon a lot. That was the main one that I watched. So those are a few examples of that right there. And he does kind of mention that in there, that the location of where the game is coming out, they kind of understand where they have to change some things here and there. So he's good with that, but he wants to make it as faithful as it possibly can. And with this kind of franchise, you gotta have to do that, especially with this game, since it's gonna be the final game in the saga, so there's gonna be a lot of story in it. So a lot of things have to remain intact for this game to make it all make sense. They're probably way done translating this game by now because, you know, we already have all the English voices in the trailers now, so they're pretty much done with that now. So the game's pretty much translated at this point. So who knows exactly what could happen. There could be a translation error in there somewhere. There's always something that like that happens in something. I can't think of one off the top of my head for Kingdom Hearts, but there's probably one in there. I just can't think of it right now. So there may be a few in there, but for the basic story stuff, I'm pretty sure all that stuff's going to remain intact. So yeah, I hope they have it all figured out over there. They're all trained translators over at the translation team, so, you know, I'm pretty sure they got it all figured out. And, you know, this story is probably going to be the best one we have seen yet. Hopefully it's not going to be disappointing. I'm trying to keep my expectations not too high, because that will lead to disappointment. And, you know, just keep your expectations in check. I've always learned that. Don't be too hyped for something, because that always leads to disappointment when it doesn't turn out the way you expect it to be, because, you know, you always build something like to be a certain way in your head, and when that doesn't happen, you throw a fit. So, you know, don't be too shocked if it doesn't turn out to be the way you exactly thought it was going to be. And like he said, this ending's gonna shock us. So I'm not ready. I'm not fucking ready for this goddamn game, man. It's just, I'm not. I ain't ready. So that's all I want to talk about with you guys in this video. Tell me down in the comments below your opinion on this. What do you think about this little translation issue thing right here? Are you glad that he's putting a lot of focus on that and making sure all the story stuff is intact and anything as faithful as possible? And have there been any mistranslations in Kingdom Hearts games before? Because I can't think of any. Tell me down in the comments below if you know of any. Also, make sure to subscribe and like this video, because that'd be really awesome if you did. This has been K Central, and I will see you guys later.